what you focus on, you feel, whether it's true or not. Have you ever been inside your head and you thought somebody did something to really hurt you, and you were so mad because you focused, you kept picturing your mind, kept thinking about how could they possibly do this to me, and you felt all this anger, all this frustration, all this hurt inside, and then later on found you were dead wrong, that they weren't even slightly trying to harm you, that you just misinterpreted the whole thing? How'd you feel? Kind of silly, right? Maybe a little stupid, a little embarrassed. But you know what? In the moment you focused and you thought this person did something to hurt you, you were hurt inside, weren't you? The same thing is true. I've watched people come to Fiji or have this incredible resort, and I watch people on the first day, man. They get here, they've been on a plane, they're caught up in their old world, you know. They're thinking about their to-do list and all the things they gotta do, and oh my God, I came here for vacation, but all these things I gotta do, and they're all stressed out. Within a few days, they start looking at birds. You know, and it's like their whole life changes. You know, they look out at the ocean, they're staring at the ocean and going, oh my God, and they start to breathe again. They start to think about what matters in their life. And someone says hello and they say hello back and they mean it. It's like all of a sudden their focus changes and their feelings change. Their life changes. And I can also see people, and I see them all the time, they come to me, some of the most successful people in the world. I've had the privilege of coaching. And whether it be a professional athlete or the President of the United States, I've had the privilege now of working with all those. I don't say that's drop names. I say it just tell you that I've really had a chance to see those who supposedly are the most successful on earth at what they do. And I've also seen people in the most challenging times of their life when they're ready to commit suicide. I mean, I tend to enter people's lives at intense levels. You know, when people are on that mediocre middle level, when they're not really happy, but they're not unhappy enough to do anything about it, rarely do I show up in their life. You're probably listening to this program because you're either unbelievably successful and you're looking for the edge, or you're really saying, man, this is winter and I'm sick of it. You know, I want to get myself in the fall where I can reap some rewards. I'm sick of this place. I'm sick of the night. I want some daytime. I want some summer. I want some sunshine in my life. I'm looking for an answer. I am sick and tired of my to-do list and having more to do than I possibly can and not feeling fulfilled and feeling stressed and saying I'm successful. What for? Am I making any sense? So what I really want to give you then is this way of just identifying what is your natural ability. This whole program is not rocket science. It's what you already do when you're at your best. But what I'm going to do is give you some words, like some labels for it, so that now you can consistently get those results. That when you're in the flow and things are just going so well and you feel so happy, or ideas are just flowing through you and you go, man, this is amazing. I don't know how I did that, but that was amazing. I'd like to be able to do that again. That all comes from putting yourself in a certain state of mind, a state of emotion. And the first way to get in that state, that flow, is to change your focus. See, focus changing, when you make that change in focus, instantaneously you can move yourself from being totally depressed to euphoria, literally in a millisecond. Whether you're succeeding at what you're doing right now in your job, in your career, in your personal life, with your children, is a huge reflection of what are you focusing on in those areas of your life, or are you even focusing on it? See, whether you succeed or fail to a great extent, is all your focus going in your job at the expense of your personal life in some way? Is the focus going into your spirituality, but you're not taking care of your body, the temple that it all is functioning through? See, when we don't know how to consciously direct our focus, we pay a price. It really determines, are you stressed or fulfilled? Has little to do with what you're doing or even the results you're getting, honestly. Because some people are getting great results and they're still unhappy. And there's some people who have so little in their life and things that they could be so frustrated about, and they're feeling great. I mean, I'll give you an example. I was looking at my management system for my life, and I said, you know what? I put a lot of focus in some areas. I haven't taken enough time just to be, to relax, take care of my body. So I decided to go to a spa. And while we were there, I met this lady that was so vibrant. She was like the life of the party at the entire spa. She stood out. Everybody loved her. Really great lady. So one day we're sitting in the spa and we're talking back and forth. And I was talking to her about her goals and why she came there. We were all kind of sharing that. And she said, well, honestly, I'm here because I have a brain tumor. And she said, you know, the doctors tell me I'm going to die within 90 days. And I looked at her and I couldn't even believe it. I said, how in the heck do you stay so happy? I mean, what is it you're doing? Because my whole life is, when I see someone who's doing something successfully, I believe success leaves clues. I believe people are not lucky. If somebody's incredibly happy in spite of huge challenges, there is a reason. And if somebody is totally depressed in spite of great opportunity, there is a reason. You can change your biochemistry in a heartbeat by changing what you focus on, by the way you breathe, by the way you move. And it's not just something in your body. Your body's not something separate from you, but it starts with how you feel, how you focus. And so when I talked to this one with a brain tumor, I said, you know, how do you do this? And she said, well, Tony, I do what you teach. And I said, really? And she said, yes, I've listened to all your tapes, and it was really a nice compliment. But I said, well, that's great, but tell me how you've applied it. She said, it's all focus. She said, listen, I know that if I focus on dying every single day, there's no hope for me. And if I focus on living my life to the absolute fullest every single day, number one, I got joy right now. I believe it's not only how long I live, it's how I live. I don't want to bend over and fall over. And you know what? I'm feeling better and I'm feeling stronger. And I'm doing my own approach. And whether I live or die long term, who knows if it's 90 days? I'm going to live fully while I'm here. I thought, and most people are stressed out because they can't get their super taco quick enough out of Jack in the Box. They're stressed out. And here's this woman got a brain tumor and she's joyous. I thought, man, you have no problems. If you're walking and breathing and you don't have a terminal illness, you got no problems. If you've got a terminal illness, it's only terminal if your mindset is as well. Because you can live right now today. Focus is the ultimate power that our Creator has given us that can change the way we think, the way we feel, and what we do in a moment. You change that focus, you change your life. RPM, this life management system, is a tool for consistently focusing on what you want instead of what you fear. It's going to pull you into place that not only get you better results, but along the way, you'll be feeling more of that joy and that passion, that excitement, that fulfillment that comes with being on the path and having a sense of certainty because you're focusing on what you want instead of what you fear. You want power, you want joy, you want passion, more money won't do it. Get more money, then you get to focus and worry about whether the IRS will take it, whether somebody will sue you, whether or not you make it through this time. Whether it's enough. It used to be the ideal amount. Now, most people have got more money than they originally thought they'd have, and now they're still stressed out, right? It's just a change in focus. It's the magic, the absolute magic of our lives. It's like the woman who's, got the brain tumor. One thing she and I talked about is, I said, there's a belief that I have, and I said, I'd rather be the courageous man. A courageous man dies once. The coward dies 1,000 deaths. You all know that quote, right? So I want to show you now how to begin to make this shift. Spin has got to figure turn around. Or I get an athlete and they say, I absolutely choked. I don't know what happened. I'm in a spin and I can't turn around. I'm in a slump. And I got to come in and turn them around. So I'm I guess, the ultimate spin doctor. I'm showing them how to come out of that spin, not how to create a spin to make it look good, how to get the result they want. There are all kinds of spins we go into. Sometimes we go into a spin in our relationship where it's like we're getting caught up in the frustration and not focusing on what we really want to create in our relationship. And then we're reacting instead of being in charge and directing it and supporting the person we love and bringing something to the table. Sometimes we get in a spin about what to do with our kids, so we try to get somebody else to solve it for us. But hey, man, if you're driving the race car, no one else can solve this for you. You're the one who's in the car every day with these kids. You're the one in the car every day in this relationship. You're going to spin financially. You're going to have to learn how to come out of it. And I'm going to tell you the secret. Here's what they taught me. They said, look, if you're going to be successful as a driver, you got to come out of the spin, and here's how it works. I'm going to put you in a spin car, and this is physically what he did. He said, sit down in this thing. He said, look what I got in my hand here. And he has this little device, and it's got 4 buttons. He said, when we're driving, at any moment, I can push one of these 4 buttons, and it will lift up the wheel that relates to that part of the car. And we will spin out of control in that direction. He said, now let me just warn you, I'm not going to push it when you're ready for it. He said, because that's not how it works in racing. You're not ready for it when it happens to you. And I thought, God, isn't that true of life? Just when everything's going good, something shows up you're not ready for. Just when you thought you got it handled, God shows up and says, I want you to grow. Here's the point. He puts me in the car. We start driving. We're driving like crazy. We're going round and round and round. I'm ready for him, man. Go ahead and push that button, baby. I know what I'm doing. Oh, I left out the most important instruction. Just before I get in, he goes, I said, well, how do I make sure, what do I do when I start to spin? He said, there's only one thing you got to remember. Focus on where you want to go when you get caught in the spin. Don't focus on what you fear. He said, have you had this experience? Have you read about or seen somebody, they're driving down a desert highway at 100 miles an hour in their Porsche, and they lose control, and there's only one telephone pole every quarter of a mile, and they wrap themselves right around it. He said, you know why? Because the minute they start to get out of control, they look for what they'd be afraid of hitting, and as they look at what they're afraid of, they literally steer into it. And I thought, wow. And he said, so when we get out here, he said, you're going to know where these walls are. And you're going to be driving incredibly fast. And I'm going to push the button. We're going to spin out of control. And your first instinct is going to go looking for the wall to see where it is. And if you look towards the wall, you will literally steer us into it. You can get us killed. So he said, I'm going to be here to make sure you focus. Like turn to the left. The left turn is what we're going to be making because we're on the track that direction. I said, okay, I got it. No problem. I teach this stuff. Well, how do you think it worked out? Well, first, I'm ready for him, right? We're driving, push that button, baby, I'm ready for you, go ahead and push it. But he doesn't, right? Because it's like life. And we keep going and going and going and going, and pretty soon, it's a tremendous amount of concentration to drive that fast. And so finally, when I'm least ready for it, he pushes the button, we start spinning out of control. Where do you think my smart brain looks immediately? Straight at the wall. Now, to save our lives, he grabs my head and physically forces it to my left, where we've got to turn. We're heading straight at the wall because I'm pointing right at it with my head as we spin out of control. So sure enough, he's holding my head there. Now, here's the question. I'm now doing the right thing. I'm looking to the left, which is a left-hand turn. I got to get away from the wall by turning to the left. As I look to the left, what am I unconsciously doing without even knowing it? I'm turning the wheel, the steering wheel, to the left. The wheels are turning left. Do you instantly turn left when you're doing the right things? The answer is no. There's this thing called momentum, right? We're in lag time. Sometimes in life you're doing the right things, but you haven't been doing long enough to get a result. You've got to keep looking in the direction you want to go. But I was stupid. Guess what I did? I kept fighting him with my head. I want to see myself crash. I want to see the death happen, right? And he keeps holding on my head, looking in that direction like crazy. And sure enough, nothing happens, nothing works, nothing works, nothing works. We're still in lag time, but if you keep doing the right thing, guess what? Bam! The wheels catch. And a few feet from the wall, boom, we turn to the left. And my heart is beating out of me. And he looks at me and he says, "Did you learn?" I said, "I learned, no problem." I didn't learn. Second time around, he waits till I'm not ready, pushes the button. I immediately look at the wall, right? Grabs my head, shoves it to the left. We're not turning left. So now I go, I don't know. I know I'm going to crash. I want to see the death. I keep looking to the wall. I keep shoving my head. Last second it catches. Took 4 times of this from my slow brain to get, I got to look where I want to go. Because here's my problem. I said, well, what if I look in the right direction? That doesn't guarantee I won't hit the wall. I mean, does it? If you look in the right direction, if you do the right things, are you guaranteed success? No. But if you look at the wall, what are you guaranteed? Death. See, if you look at what you're afraid of, you're guaranteed to have more of it. If you focus on what you fear, you're going to feel it, you're going to experience it, and you're going to drive right into it. What you focus on, you feel. What you focus on determines the direction of your life. What you continually focus on, you will get.